Why do we all need to find role models as women? Because it's going to give you hope. It's going to give you strategy, and it's going to give you the ability to say that you can do it too. Role models has shifted the way I live my life. And I think that we're not trained as a culture, as a society, in our infrastructure in school or even our home to say, who do you want to become? Look for the role models that are doing it and study them. I think in the personal development world, that's how they train people and say, there's a recipe to success. There's a recipe to actually, achieving the things that you want. You find the person who's done it, you find that role model and you emulate them. Now, as mothers, we don't think about that. We don't think I need to have a role model as a mother. I need to have a role model as a woman. And that's how I'm going to achieve new heights of new greatness, because it's going to help me think that it's possible. I'm going to know exactly the strategy. I just need to follow them. And then I'm going to then fast track my ability to achieve what I'm created to, who I'm called to. Otherwise, I could miss the very thing I was called to because I was never trained to actually find the role models that would help me achieve and give me hope that it's possible. Let me give you an example. I know for me, I never thought that it's possible for me to build a business while being a mom of 8, writing a book and speaking and training, women across 40 countries. I dreamt about it, but I just didn't think it was I really didn't think it was sort of, possible. I've always just sort of, dreamt about it. But the idea of actually achieving it was, it was sort of, it wasn't a pipe dream. It was just, I just kept dreaming it, but I didn't think that it would actually come to be. But it was a role model who I would look back and say, wow, they actually achieved that. Wow. Okay. They were able to actually, I remember this one woman that I just really admired deeply. She had 5 children. And she was the top in her country. She was one of the top 10 richest women in her country. She was so humble. You would never know. She had such deep respect for her relationship, for her spouse. She was so faithful. She was so kind. She was so gracious. She was so accomplished. She finished, I think she went to Wharton Business School, but you would never know. And so that role model shifted actually my ability to think of wealth in a way that, I saw her model for me intentionality in motherhood while building mastery in her field and being a really successful business owner. It totally broke my glass ceiling of what was possible. I look at her and I'm like, wow, if she didn't model that for me, I would have probably thought, oh, it's not possible. But she modeled it for me. And so to me, I then, kind of studied her. I literally studied the way she talked, how she, she thought, her communication, her strategy. I really did. I mean, I'm a fierce role model. Or what I mean by that is that I look at my role models and I literally emulate what they say, what I hear, and I just study them and I apply it because I don't have to try to figure it out. It's been done for me. And that's what models are. Like if you think of a model, like a sculpture, you want the model because it helps you kind of draw, and you don't have to try to figure it out. It's their model for you. And you just kind of paint it or sculpture, right? That's what the model is. If you're looking for a painting, they hire a model so they can do it. Well, it's the same thing with us. I think women need different role models for different season in our life and different arenas of our life, different parts of our life that we call arena. We need to have a role. I have a role model for relationship. I have a role model for wealth. I have a role model for motherhood. And sometimes some of them are integrated, some of them they're not. And that's okay, because for me as a mom of 8, I don't meet a lot of mom of 8 who's building a business and wants to be in love with her husband. So I kind of take bits and parts of it just because I have a big family and not a lot of women are having more, a lot of children like me. But nonetheless, I look at mothers who have, many children and see how they live their life, how they live their relationship, how they live their motherhood. And to me, I just sort of take pieces, and it doesn't have to be, where you just have one role model. It could be that you're always looking and harvesting from other women so that you can model after them. Maybe it's just a short season. Maybe it's an encounter, but I find that there's role models for me in different unique seasons of my life. There's a model for me right now that I have with wealth. There's a model for me right now with my relationship with Ryan. There's a model for me right now in the way I mother. And I kind of take these pieces together. There's a relationship for me in my health, role model for me in my health. And so those things really make a difference because I think and study them and emulate them in a way that it gives me so much hope, but also I don't have to think about strategy. And that's the great thing about social media is that you can actually follow your own role models and emulate what they're doing, take their scripts, see how they're doing things, get their strategy, and it would fast track your ability to accomplish your goals. And that's the invitation I have for all women, for especially for mothers, is that don't live your life without a model, because that role model is what's going to give you hope to know that you have a call, that you were created to achieve, you are called to achieve. And the way you're going to achieve that and fast track it is to give yourself hope and look to other women that have achieved it and that have pursued their call and model after them. And it could also be that they have passed, right? There's certain role models. I really like Joan of Arc, that because I feel like she's fiery and fierce, and there's a part of me that is fiery and fierce, but I also really love Kate Middleton because I think there's an elegance about her, and I think there's that sort of reverence and sacredness of being a woman. So you put that on together, and I'm like, how do you become fierce and tender at the same time? And you can mold that with women in history, with women in this present moment, and you create that for yourself, and you design the woman you want to become based on the different role models that you have. And to me, that's your design. That's you designing who you want to be, for the purpose of contributing your highest and best self to the people around you and fulfill your God-given call. And I think that's how we need to think about role models, so that they help us achieve our God-given call. So if you don't have a role model out there for every arena of your life, go look at the different parts of your arena and then go figure out who your role model is, because I think that's how we begin the journey of allowing and giving ourselves permission to achieve those great things that we didn't think was possible.